Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. This is Christal Jordan from Christal with Love, and I am coming to you. We are in a very off the wall time. I had to talk to my people tonight. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to go live. I called one of my girlfriends, it's a relationship expert, and I asked her, could she come on impromptu on a Monday night at 10? Because of some things that happened today online. And as I'm not a relationship expert. I call myself a relationship ambassador. So I am someone that really is an ambassador of love. I love talking about relationships and encouraging people to find their best selves in relationships. But I am definitely not a relationship expert. I'm never going to call myself that. Like I said, I call myself an ambassador of love because I believe in love, and I believe that there's the opportunity for everyone to find true love. That being said, earlier today, Derrick Jaxn, actually this started early. It started last week, but earlier today, relationship expert Derrick Jaxn went on live and included a statement, made a verbal statement with he and his wife. It actually was not a statement. It was more like a really long, drawn out explanation. After last week, there was information leaked about him cheating on his wife. He got attacked. People were going crazy. He was trending on Black Twitter. And today, he and his wife decided to go public together. And that's what prompted me to call T. Marie. So she's been a guest on Reality Check numerous times. I enjoy her feedback, and I feel like this was important for me to have this discussion with a woman. So you guys, please help me welcome my good girl, T. Marie.
Hey, everybody. Hey, beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm loving this blonde. I'm loving that blonde feeling. Do blondes have more fun?
Girl.
I've heard blondes have more fun. I don't think my skin tone will work with blondes, so I've never tried it, but it looks good on you. I love it.
Thank you. You can wear it. It's just tones. You know, I'm a stylist too of 20 years, so it just depends on the tone, but you could definitely wear it.
Well, you know what? One day, I always see you talk about being a stylist. I'm going to have to come and let you help me out one day. One day.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to get your hands on me.
We're going to have some fun, girl.
Yes. Well, like I said, I called you earlier this afternoon.
Yes.
Because I was actually watching the live with Derrick Jaxn and his wife. And I felt like I actually mentioned him in one of my segments on From Christal with Love. Mm-hmm. And what I said is that I don't believe that you never get attached to the man. You always focus on the message. So I can get messages I could be walking down the street. I talk to anybody and talk to a person that's living on the street, and he can give me some wisdom, and I can take that because I know how to judge, take the meat and throw back the bones. Right. So I don't think you ever, judge somebody totally, because we all take better advice than we give. But when I saw the actual video and the interaction with he and his wife, I changed my mind. And I was like, you know what? This is a little bit something more than just a man that has made a mistake, right?
Right.
Made a mistake, but has a good heart. But when I saw that interaction, I was like, no, we got to talk about that. This is something else. And I want to be honest and say I was wrong. That man is not someone you should listen to. So before I get into it, I want to play the clip of first sat down with her, and then we're going to get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
What's going on, guys? Derrick Jaxn here, and today I am joined by my lovely wife, Danae, and we just wanted to address a couple of things. We understand that some of you may have already heard, maybe not, that this chapter of our marriage is one that was preceded by a marriage that I completely failed. And I would say it just started around August, maybe September of last year. But, a lot has been said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true. Some of it is completely false. But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of
That's
All
how
right.
we started the video now.
That's how we started. So I'm going to ask you, what were your first thoughts when you saw that video and you saw the two of them sitting there on the couch together?
My first thought was I was listening, right? And I was listening. And I can't lie, I was first thrown aback about how he presented the woman that he's supposed to be protecting. Now I know what we're saying, we people are like, well, it doesn't matter how she looks or whatever. Listen, let me tell you how the significance of that. When you have damaged someone, or you have put somebody out there and you have messed them up and you've exposed them and you've embarrassed them, you don't bring them back looking like the damage you caused, okay? Because that's exactly what she looks like. You bring her back shining. You bring her back like gold. You bring her back, because what that shows us is that you love this woman and you care enough to present her very best, and for her to present her very best. But for you to allow her to come out there lets me know that this is truly a prop. One, truly a prop. And secondly, and the other thing with that is that he said this was her idea. There's no way a woman's gonna say, hey, let's put this together, but I'm just gonna look like this. No, ma'am, no, ma'am. And then the other thing is for you to open up talking about all the things you did to her, all the ways you damaged her. Yep, no, it wasn't just regular sex, it was the ooh sex. It was all over the place. I was doing this, that, and the other. And you can look at her face while he's describing what he's done. Like, I can't believe we're having this talk in front of all these people. So for me, that's where the disingenuous starts, right from the beginning.
I agree with you, because I'm like, I can't even really get into what they're saying, because I want to make it clear we're not bashing. That's why I wanted you to join me, because I know I'm such an advocate for other women. I'm never going to get on here and bash a woman. I may say I don't agree with a woman, because I can say that, and I may say I don't like how a woman carries herself, but I'm never going to bash another woman.
Right.
I'm not bashing her. She's a beautiful woman. First of all, she's a beautiful young woman. However, the fact that Derrick Jaxn is so meticulous in the way he presents himself, most of Derrick Jaxn's followers are, I would say 99.9% of Derrick Jaxn followers are women.
Yes.
And they're women that are attracted to the package he presents. And he goes out of his way to make sure that package is meticulously presented in a way to attract his female audience. Now, the fact that he did not take the same energy in the way he presented his wife. In fact, he's sitting there in a sweater. Lineup is immaculate, right? It's not ever have I seen Derrick Jaxn need a haircut, need a different shirt, need a muscle. Everything is complete.
He comes fully packaged.
He comes the full package. It looks like somebody drew on, and I'm saying that because that just doesn't happen. People that present themselves that way do that that's very much that's purposeful, right? Nothing wrong with that. But he did not take that same energy and put it into his wife. And he knows he's introducing his wife to his audience. So if she's a natural girl, I'm not mad at that, because she really doesn't need makeup. She's a beautiful girl. But her hat was on. It's not even really connected to the outfit. It's to the side. She looks like somebody just pulled her up from washing clothes and got on to talk to his audience that are full of very, very materialistic, specific women. That was wrong on his part. First of all, I was so upset with him for putting her. So you already know that you're embarrassing her. She's sitting there with you, holding your hand. And that's such a PR thing. You're holding hands to present this message, and you're talking about the women, plural, the women that you have cheated on her with.
And the way you did it, you like, I wasn't just checking on them. I was sexually active with them.
Yeah. And you don't even, I mean, every woman probably watching this has been cheated on. What men don't understand, it's embarrassing to be around other women and everybody knows your man is cheating on you, right? That's an embarrassing thing. Now, you got me out here looking crazy. You guys can reference Beyonce's Resentment. Great record that explains. You got me looking crazy. And he already knows that, because he knows women. Some men are dumb to the fact. He's not. He knows.
He studies them now.
But to have her looking like that to present this message was so, to me, I'm like, he doesn't care about her, because like you said, a king understands his queen represents him. Most men, if they're men and they're a good man and a good husband, he wants the wife to look, he wants her to shine, he wants her to look better than him.
Exactly.
I don't know who these men are that want to look better than the woman they're with. I remember when I was dating my high school boyfriend, he would be like, his dad be like, as soon as I get a new car, I'll give your mom a new car, I'll drive the old one.
Exactly. That's it.
What kind of man has his wife up here and his outfit looks more put together than hers?
Because
and you're talking about humiliating her.
Everything about this was not about making sure she's okay, but making sure his brand and that he was okay. Because if he cared about her, if he cared about her the way he's saying, then no doubt he would have had her looking a certain type of way, because she is a representation of you. So you have presented damage to all these people saying, I'm okay with leaving this in front of you, because that's the message. You know
what? That's just what one of the comments said, is that this was a dog whistle to the audience to justify his cheating. And I really hope that that's not it. But it does. You were able to see that marriage, they're not in sync. They're not in sync. There is no one that spends that much time on their appearance that is married to someone who would even be okay going on camera to his audience, who is all female, and looking like that. So I mean, I can't even get into the conversation before I'm like, the whole fact that you got her up here with her hand looped up through yours.
Yeah.
And that body language was so wrong.
Her body, listen, she looked so defeated even in that moment. And I really think those first statements, I don't think she was expecting him to say all of that in the beginning. I really didn't. And I don't think she was expecting him just to go that far. So when he said all this, you can just look at how her face kind of changes. Like, you really can see that. But he doesn't care, because this is all about protecting him and making sure he looks a certain way.
Right.
This is the beginning of narcissism, if you've ever seen it.
This is like, I feel like someone needs to do a whole case study. But you know what? This is an example for women to beware. Anytime somebody, if something looks too good, it's too polished, it always says exactly what you want to hear. That's not real. He has become popular. He makes a living off of Black women on YouTube.
Yes.
He makes a living off of manipulating women who have been hurt by men like him. That is sick. That's really sick. But so he knows the signs because he's doing it himself.
Exactly. And that's what I said. People were talking about, well, how can he teach this and how can he teach this? The reason why he could teach it, because he was doing it. The reason why he could give you five signs that a man isn't into you is because he was doing that exact same thing. The reason why he could tell you what a narcissist was, because he was a narcissist. So he can give the exact signs because he is emulating that exact thing. So the information was very thorough, very clear, and very true, even though it was coming from that source. But it was coming from a source who was exercising what he was talking about.
But yeah, he is really good, because he knows that's why I'm gonna charge him harder, right? Because it's like, this was no mistake. Mm-hmm. This was repeated behavior. This is all a game to you. This is all game. The only reason that he's able to do that is because he constantly outs other men running the same game that he's running.
Right. Exactly.
And I said earlier, I was like, y'all got to get smarter. We have to be smarter as consumers. I know that most people have gone through hurt. Men or women, relationships can be hurtful. But when you're listening to someone who has to tear the other sex down or their sex down to build them up, they're running game. Game. And that's why men are so angry at Derrick Jaxn, because men knew he was running game.
Yeah. Men were like, see, we tried to tell y'all. We tried to let y'all know that this guy was a fraud, because men are sitting there like, no man is that perfect. No man presents himself that way. No man, and he's always tearing other men down. And he did that a lot. There was things that he would say that would make sense, but he was good at pointing the finger at men and getting women to understand that these men do this. And these men do that instead of telling women, be careful of your actions and be accountable of what you encounter. And that's always the problem. Whenever you encounter a person that points fingers all the time, that's the reddest flag you could ever come across.
I agree with you. I feel like we need to put people up on game.
Yes.
Like either way, if it's an empowerment person and the first thing they do is start telling you what's wrong with your life, it's a pimp hoe game, right?
That's it.
Pimp is explaining to the whole why. You know what? You ain't got yourself together. You ain't got yourself. That's why you need me in your life. You ain't running right. You ain't got your hair right. Let me come in your life and take care of you. And that's what Derrick Jaxn. Buy my books, listen to my thing, and that is how women get addicted to that, because it's not making you heal. It's not making you better. Now I will say this. I want to be sure. I want to be clear. There are a lot of women out there that Derrick Jaxn's words have helped. That's not wrong. Just because he's an asshole does not negate some of the things that he said that may have afflicted you. So if you took something from that, don't let this situation tear it down. Like I said, you can get a good word, you can get some wisdom from anyone.
Right.
I know women who consistently deal with married men, but they can tell you, you know what, a married man is not. They can give you good advice.
Exactly.
Doesn't follow that, but that doesn't mean that their advice and their words are wrong. You got to take that meat and throw back the bone. So please don't feel, no one that has listened to him and that he's actually helped, don't feel duped by that. Maybe he was supposed to help you, but I'm saying his books, his cards, his lotion and cream. I interviewed him and he came in there with he's doing creams and all. That's all based on the fact that he knows he is a typical narcissist in that he has the outside appearance that would attract most women. Let's just be honest. He's a tall, muscle bound, good looking. He's really like symmetrical.
He's right. It's like everything is in place, and that's enough to hypnotize you. This is like once he realized that he knew. Like he never, like you said, he was never out of place. He always looked well when he said whatever he was going to say. He knew his audience. He studied women. He had friends. He'd done all the work that needs to be done. And the problem is he just had no problem with using his tool, I would say, for bad. I mean, he was able to help some people, but some people are, blessed with a talent and an influence and a delivery that you can either use for good or bad. And he was just able to benefit from it at the same time, destroying somebody else with it. And that was the unfortunate part about it. But the one thing about what God will do, he will always expose. You can only get away with something for so long. He will always expose it for what it is. He will do it in a way where it allows you to get what you needed to get from it, but help you understand this ain't the perfect one.
This is not the perfect one. That's 100% right. I agree with you. That is exposed, but I think that it can mean that I needed that for a reason, but we're not you should not be so addicted to what anyone says that you don't listen to what they say, because I can tell you 9 good things, but the 10th thing that I tell you that's wrong, if you're blindly listening to me and not using your own head, that 10th thing can mess you up. Right?
Absolutely.
So you need to be sure that whoever you're listening to, listen to what they see and see if it gels with your spirit. Some of the things Derrick Jaxn said, you could tell it was just him hating on men to keep women connected.
Absolutely. He said the right things. He said what we as women, especially a hurt woman or woman searching for love, wanted to hear. And so again, that's what made men so upset. And people like, don't nobody, men tell y'all, don't nobody listen to him. There's a fraud. He's too perfect. And that's not how men operate. And that's why it was a problem. That's
not how men operate. Yeah. If you guys are just tuning in, I'm Christal from Christal with Love XO, and I got my good girl T. Marie here. She has no more boyfriends, relationship expert, and we're talking about the Derrick Jaxn fiasco. We had to come to you live today. Yes. I said we cannot wait. We got
right. Go on now, let's do it today, because today
we got to get on here tonight. Tonight. So now that we've talked a little bit about, Derrick Jaxn, and we played a clip earlier, he and his wife went on. First of all, they did this twice, right? So they did one, and I thought, okay, well, maybe she just wasn't prepared. Surely I saw that he went live again, surely she gonna have her hair done. Now, they came back. She still looked disheveled. Again, I'm not hating on the sister. She's a beautiful girl. And I hope she gets help. I hope she gets away from him because even if that's who she is, that's fine. I have no problem with her wanting to be natural, her wanting to wear a hat. But what I'm saying is the fact that he brought her onto his audience.
Yeah.
He's always made up. He's always picture perfect. He should have made sure that she was just even more so because of what he was going to be talking about.
Yeah.
So now during the conversation, he acknowledged several times. Not only has he cheated once, but it's been multiple times with multiple women.
Yes.
That's not a mistake. That's a lifestyle.
No, that's a lifestyle. Absolutely. And she went on to say that was the reason why she left. There was a question when he was going to get their baby, and he asked, first of all, why this was set up like interview style, I don't know. You notice he would ask her a question and get her to answer it.
Because he's trying to control the narrative. He's trying to control the narrative. Again, and I said this earlier, as a publicist and a public relations practitioner, morality to the side, that was the wrong way to deal with that crisis. It was all the way wrong. I don't know why they didn't call one of the publicists. They're here in Atlanta. He could have called numerous people that would have been happy to help him put together a crisis PR plan.
Nope. That's part of his narcissism too. He doesn't need anybody else. He got it.
That's probably
he don't need nobody to fix it. He got it. He can figure it all out.
He gets on there and he you can tell he coached her, and then when she started talking and she went off script, he tried to shush her. No.
Right, he pulled it back.
First of all, statements should never be that long. Right. He got on the first time, said, "This is what I'm taking accountability."
That should have been it.
Mm-hmm. But he knows that his brand is going to suffer from this. Right. So he pulled her back. She's sitting here lopsided on the sofa next to him and going again. But the way he interacted with her every time she started talking, and she was like, "I know I'm just running on," and he was like, "No, it's not that." And I was just like, "Oh my God, it's like she needs help."
Yeah, it really like she needed to be rescued. The one time when he left the room and he asked her a question, well, what have you learned about this relationship? Or what do you feel since we've gotten together, since we've gone through this? What do you feel how this has changed us, or whatever the question to that degree was? And so when he went off, she kind of started to expose that this had been several times, and I had just got fed up, and I left, and I was just over, and I was done, and I had to go because I was tired of being in this situation, which let us know, sir, the whole time you've been talking to us, you've been doing this thing to your wife. This is not this one thing. This is a continuous line of activities that you've been doing to her. And she starts to expose that. Because see, in the beginning, it wasn't that. It was just supposed to have been this one girl that had come out.
Right.
People started to come out. He had to split it and let people know, no, I've been all over the place because I needed help. And
because girls were going to come out. Other girls were going to come out.
Absolutely.
People see that, they were going to come out. People are going to come out.
Yeah.
And my thing is this. It's so much to this. Yeah. Can we go back and talk about the fact that he never even, again, for someone who was supposed to be promoting Black love and supposed to be promoting healthy relationships, we haven't even seen your wife, sir. Your wife's not even on your social media. We see your chest more than we see your wife. We see yourself constantly. We don't see your wife and children. To me, if you're promoting Black love and solid relationships, we should see your relationship.
Right.
We should.
He knew his relationship was false. Yeah.
You supporting her, but the fact that you're still up here posting and talking like a bachelor, some people didn't even know he was married.
I had no idea. It was for a long time before I knew, because again, like you said, he always presented to me himself as a single man, speaking to women about what to look out for in a single man. So I never knew. I never got the idea. He never presented himself or his lifestyle as a married lifestyle. So that was a problem. And I don't think he started to do that until people start to ask questions about it. So they start to be like, well, are you married? I mean, what's the deal? You're giving all this advice, like talk to us. And then all of a sudden you don't see her, but you start to hear a little bit about being in a relationship.
Little bit, but I didn't know, because he's talking about the fact that there was another marriage that he was cheating on as well. And that one kind of bled into this one. So somebody said, I knew it. Men who study women to that extent has to be a has to be a monster that she's you're probably right. You're probably right. But the thing about it though is there is the fact that he does study women that much. What you said earlier, men's men do not down other men. They'll say,
No.
"Wait a minute, let me hear the full side of the story." He got on, he was talking about Tyrese. I mean, and a lot of things that Derrick Jaxn says are true.
Right.
But the fact that he knows that so well and can appeal to women, it just speaks to that narcissism. But I think that we have to start being smarter ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
So we have to stop being smarter and we have to stop giving people passes. Most of the people on his live that were giving him a pass were women.
Absolutely.
We have to stop standing up more for men than we do for ourselves.
Yeah.
Someone here saying he's only 32. He is only 32, but he knows enough to run game
Exactly.
on women 2 and 3 times that age.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
He is. I don't know why people thought he had so much expertise. I said earlier, the women didn't think he had so much expertise. He looked good and he was saying what they want to hear.
He was saying what they wanted to hear. A lot of times, a lot of things that a lot of us as influencers and experts and coaches, because I'm a coach, a lot of the things we learn come from experience first. Things that we've gone through. We go through trying to figure out where we went wrong, things we could have done differently. At least for me, that's exactly what happened. That's how No More Boyfriends was even birthed. Going through this 2.5, 3-year relationship, operating like a wife, but understanding I was still in this girl, whatever phase, and knowing the outcome came out to be nothing, understanding that I didn't owe this particular thing to a man in this stage, I wasn't going to be a wife. So a lot of things that we go through are the things that we begin to present and what we learn from and how we teach other people how to go through it. Some people just take that thing and use it to their advantage.
Right.
They pry on people who they know they can take advantage of, and they know how to appeal to that person to get what they need to get. Derrick never stopped doing what he was doing. The same thing again. Yes,
the bigger platform. He had more access and he had a so-called, I don't want to say celebrity status because influencers are not celebrities.
Right.
I'm real big on that. Influencers are not celebrities. Celebrities are people who earn a living because they have a talent that earns money and fame. Popular people on Instagram are not celebrities. So I don't even call him a celebrity. But what I will say is he became very popular and that gave him access. And just like pastors that are sleeping with women in the congregation up there, talking about adultery and infidelity and up there doing the same thing. I don't understand. I feel like we need to do something for women. Hey,
we do.
Women, we got to stop. You cannot give him a pass if what he's saying and what he's doing with you, because I don't know how many guys I've had pastors hit on me and I'm like, you're not following the pastorly ways. This is not, and then they try to act like, oh, this is the only time. No, that's just your lifestyle. Yeah. You use the pulpit because women are attracted to power. Yeah. Women are attracted to popularity and that allows them access. So we have to be smarter and we have to take ability. We have to take accountability ourselves. I want to say something else. Just because you take accountability for something does not give you a pass, sir. So he was up there. Well, I'm taking accountability. You're not taking accountability. You got caught. And now you're trying to make it right so that you keep your fan base. Right. When people get caught and then they come out and say, okay, you got me. That's not taking accountability.
That's not taking accountability.
That's admitting.
Accountability would have been him talking about this prior to. Accountability would have been like, okay, so this book that I had speaks on all the things that happened in our relationship, and that's why I'm able to present this book. That's accountability, because that means you came forward first. Accountability is always about what you do prior to being exposed. That's accountability. If you do it afterward, that's not accountability. That's an apology. That's like, dang, my hands up. Sorry, I got caught. Let me explain. So what people don't understand is accountability is the action prior, not after.
Also, accountability does not place blame on the other person.
Ooh,
like he said, we both made mistakes. No, sir, that's not accountability. That's blame. And that's another trick that women get caught up into. Yeah. We didn't even have a chance to talk about Quavo and Saweetie, right? So Quavo, in his accountability, yeah, I did you wrong, but you weren't the woman I thought you were. No, sir.
That ain't accountability.
Not accountability. That's not admitting that you're wrong. If you're trying to throw some blame on me to make me take some of it, I'm not taking that.
He's not looking for accountability. They're looking for justification. Because look, let's trust and believe. Justification. One of the things he wanted us to justify the reason why is the one reason why he presented his wife the way she looked. This is what I come home to every day. And I'm not saying he said that.
You know what?
It's an underlying message that he presented to the people. This is what I come home to. So you can kind of see why maybe this could have happened.
I really hope that
I'm just saying.
I really hope, because like I said, number one, she's a beautiful girl.
Yes, absolutely.
Very pretty. She needs to come down here and let one of these stylists get a hold of her in Atlanta.
She'll be whole different.
Her DMs will be flooded because that's how that goes. But it's not about the makeup and all that.
No.
It's about the way he presented her.
Exactly. It's not about the makeup. People are beautiful without makeup, but put yourself together. You have on this hat. You have on this sweat top. It's over. You got your
side. The hat wasn't.
That looks very defeated. And for me, that's a message in itself. The fact that he presents her that way. The fact that in front of everybody. The fact that he kept saying, but we both had something to do with it. Again, this is some justification. I know, but see. It's so it's not really accountability at all. Again, one of the biggest narcissistic things you can do is be like, but not taking accountability, but giving justification of why you did what you did.
Anytime anybody, and I keep trying to say anybody because I'm for both sides.
Right.
Wrong is wrong.
Yep.
But if your apology includes you saying, the other person did something, then you're not, you haven't truly found a place of retribution in your heart.
Absolutely.
He's not sorry. He's trying, like you said, he's trying to justify. And to me, he's not even trying to justify. He's trying to keep his coins.
Right.
And the thing about it, all the women watching this tonight, you all are the ones, you have the power. There are so many women, and I need to ask you that. Let's work through that with me.
Okay.
Why are we, especially, I'm just talking to Black women because I'm a Black woman. That's who I'm focused on most of the time in my life. It's my sisters, right?
Right.
Why are we so quick to have a man's back when it's obvious he's preying on others of us, right?
Yeah.
I can look at her and tell she needs to hang out with me and my girlfriends.
Right.
Like you need some big sisters to get up under you and be like, girl, if he don't, there's something about if he's not posting you, if it's clear that now if he's not married, that's different. If you're not married, I don't think anybody owes anybody anything. But once you become married and you're promoting a single lifestyle,
right,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't want to be married to somebody that's not married.
Well, let me touch on why we have a tendency to support and hang on to a person that's not treating us well. A lot of times, some point in our life, that person became a savior to us. They came in and they took over, or they fixed a problem, or they took over a problem, or something came and they took care of something that we were missing. And without that person, that thing that we needed is going to be gone again. So we'd rather lose a little bit of ourselves to keep that piece there. So that's why when I'm coaching, I always talk to women about being solid before you go into relationships, because if you are solid before you go in, you're quick to be like, I don't need this because I'm good anyway. So you need to be solid emotionally, physically, with your finance. Like, you need to be a solid person, because men bring those things, emotion, that thing, they come bringing their emotion, they come bringing sex, they come bringing their coin. And let me tell y'all something about sex, ma'am, ladies and gentlemen. My way, and I'm going to tell you, and I don't know how you feel about it, you better learn how to satisfy yourself so that that sex game will not keep you there. Because let me tell you this, let's be clear. If you are staying with a man for sex, it's not sex, that's intimacy, because you can please yourself. And once you learn how to please yourself well, that man comes to you doing the wrong thing, you like, baby, if it's just about sex, you can go. But if it's, and women trick themselves thinking, well, it's just the sex. If it's just the sex, if it's just the nut, excuse my language, you can get that. But if you say somebody to put their arm around you,
did you say if it's just the nut? Did you say if it's just the nut?
If it's just we get that too. I mean, come on now. Come on now. If you just need to bust one, if you just need to get that off of you, you can do that. That's different.
Yeah.
But women trick themselves like, oh, I just slept with him because I needed to get mine or
Girl,
whatever.
you lying.
No, because you
Girl,
can get
you
you
lying.
without him. But if you said you needed him to touch you, be with you, and color you, that's intimacy, ma'am, and that's the quickest way you get caught up. That's the trickery.
You are not lying. That's why I called you. That's why I called you. I'm not lying. There's no such thing. I swear to God, I'm so over this idea. First of all, women and men are not the same.
We're not.
And men know that, right? So women are constantly be like, oh, I can do the same thing as he can.
No.
And sit there because it works to their benefit.
Right.
It's that record of that Summer Walker got, Girls Need Some Too.
Yeah.
And Drake is like, he comes in with his part. He's like, yeah, you should have some too. It's not fair. Guys get their. And I'm like, this sneaky bastard, because he knows good and well women are not. It's not a. You can please yourself usually better if it's just about that.
If it's just about that,
it's never about that.
No.
It's always about the intimacy.
It is.
I'll be honest, because I was single a long time. Long time. Okay. Very long time. Long time. So the thing that you can miss that feeling, but what I missed the most was actually being in a man's arms, feeling safe and feeling protected. There is nothing like that in the world.
No.
And we're not going to say that that's not needed, because it is.
That feeling is on purpose.
Right.
That's created. God created that feeling. We got to understand that is a created feeling by God, because that action is supposed to take place in a marriage so that you continue to connect. That feeling is on purpose. So anytime we do those things outside of marriage, it's out of order anyway. So you're creating these bonds that don't even go together, and you're trying to create and figure it out. And it's not going to be figured out because it doesn't go together. So anytime you try to treat something that God created like something that's of the world, it's going to be misused and confused anyway. And you're not going to get the same results or benefit from it. So if you get that part right first, then you'll start to understand, okay, maybe this ain't the best thing. Maybe I need to do something differently. Maybe I need to go back and reevaluate some things. That's the accountability part women need to have before they start dating. And I mean, we just got to start taking care of ourselves so we don't continue to get hurt, because we're going to keep blaming these men. And it's not the men, because it's the same men out there every time, every day. Ain't going to change. They all out there. It's same choose to entertain. Yeah.
It's the same game every time. Every woman watching that, every woman watching that can look at that until that woman is not happy. She can tell me she's happy all she wants. I can look at you and tell in your face as you're sitting there by this man who is providing for himself. I don't know if he's providing for her. We know he's providing for him, but you could see that she's not happy. And you're right, until we start to put ourselves first. Now, it is a woman's nature to nurture.
Absolutely.
And it is our nature to put, but we have to be careful about who we put in that place.
Exactly.
And that's my thing. I just feel like you got to be, and there's so many women don't want to be alone. And then you get this whole idea of, well, if I'm alone, but I promise you, substituting that BS, it makes you, because what it does is it makes you feel worse about yourself. You go lay down with somebody, they don't really want you, they're telling you that they don't, and then you feel bad because it's like, oh, what's wrong with me? And that opens you up to somebody like Derrick Jaxn, because he's able to see that you're broken. Listen. He's able to come in here with all this fake love and this fake, pizzazz to make you, and it's like, oh, this is it. He's saving me. He's making me feel better.
Exactly.
And if you had done the work yourself, you wouldn't need that. You wouldn't fall for that. But I feel like we as women, and that's why I wanted to do this tonight. I'm so committed to being the person that says to other women, sister, I got you. I'm not.
Me too.
As older women, we have to stand up and say, I'm going to put this out. No, this is not the cool thing. This is not what Mulatto and Sweetie are talking about, but they're not supposed to, because they're younger.
Exactly.
I know better. I know that I had to get to a point, and I think I told you this on one of the shows, I was just having bad situation after bad situation. I don't date a lot, but it wasn't right. And I was like, you know what? Let me just sit down. Let me sit down.
Let me pause.
Because I'm I'm not doing a good job. I didn't want to be alone, but I know like I'm not unhappy alone. Like I like my home. I'm happy with my children. I'm a happy person, but I would rather just wait. And it's not popular to practice celibacy or to even think about that. But I promise you, there is a reward for treating yourself like you matter.
Exactly. And that's if you've never said anything else, there is a reward in treating yourself like you matter, because you do. The way you see you, and the way you treat you will be the way that the other person sees and treats you too. If a man sees that you treat yourself well, you're not going to allow yourself to be disrespected, you're going to make sure you got the best, you're going to understand that you deserve what you deserve, he's going to see that, he's going to make two decisions. Either he can do it or he can't. And if he can do it, he's going to, because he knows he's required that of you because you do it for yourself. And if he can, he's going to bounce out. And you got to be okay with a dude bouncing out who knows he's not going to treat you like you treat you. So if you mistreat you and you mistreat your time and you don't take care of yourself and you don't do self-care and your toes look a fool and you don't comb your hair and you don't put no clothes on and you don't have no clean car, he is going to do the same exact things that you are going to do for yourself.
You are still the whole word. And I really hope, I don't know where her family is, but somebody else like, where's her family? Where's her sister? You know, unfortunately, a lot of our families, especially like women in our community, a lot of our families want us to be married so bad, or want us to be with a man that's successful so bad that they don't look between. You got to read between those lines. Just because he has money, just because he's tall, just because he looks good does not mean he's good for you.
Right.
So a lot of times family turns a blind eye. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying that when you look at situations, I know women that are in bad situations, but their family just wants them to be with somebody because they come from that old mindset of, girl, you need a man. You ain't got a man yet.
Yeah. And some of us are generational curse breakers. We don't understand that we're the first person to have a decent relationship or to break a chain of women who have had a decent relationship. Some of us come from families where the women have always been walked over or always been used, and they've never seen them empowered. And so when we're looking for our families to uplift us to do something different, that may not be the circle that's going to do that. You may be the generational curse breaker for your daughters and your sons moving forward. So it's not always a family. Sometimes the family is the main reason why you're acting the way you're acting, because that's all you've seen.
Right.
So when we're looking for, we reach back and say, well, where was her family? More importantly, we need to ask, where is her circle? Who does she hang around? Who are her friends? Who are her confidants? It's not always going to be her family, but who is her counsel? That's one of the most important things we need to ask about people these days. Who do they talk to? Who are they influenced by? What are they seeing? And if you look at that, you'll begin to understand why they do what they do.
Right. That's true. And then I think that we have to, as women, if you see a sister going through something like that, you need to say something to her, right? You need to say something to her. Like, we have to get out of this. We used to be a community that would support each other vocally, right? Hold each other accountable.
Right.
If we're all focused on ourselves and we're not looking out for each other, then we're not going to learn. I learned because I had older women that pulled me to the side. My mother talked to me all the time, but not everybody has a mother like that.
Right.
My daughter has friends whose mothers are not their confidant.
Right.
So I'll talk to them because you're not going to be around me. And I see if I got a girlfriend and her man has a page, because this is happening in social media all the time.
Right.
It's not about him having a page and not posting it. Let me clear that up. It's about what his page represents.
Right.
So if his page represents his job, his profession, he's working, and his work is not about his work is, I don't know, something technical.
Right.
Real estate or something. And all he has is you could tell a tree by its fruit. You can judge a tree by its fruit. So if you look at what he does and it's all related to work, it's okay. I mean, that's different. But if he's posting, when a man is posting how much money he has, what kind of women is he going to attract?
Of course.
Women that have money,
exactly.
Right? because you judge a tree by their fruit. By the same token, my sisters, when you post your ass all day and you get a guy that just wants ass, we're not crying. We're not crying about that. We are not going to cry about it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
At one moment you want to say it's empowering, and now you're mad because the man wants to hit it. That's not empowering. Who is that empowering? Who told you that showing your body, being sexual, being overly sexual is empowering? What does that own? That's not femininity. That's not owning your womanness. That's not what that is. That's presenting your sexuality as your tool, as your forefront. And then you're mad because somebody comes and sees your forefront and asks you for it. You can't be upset about that.
You cannot be upset about that. We're not going to cry if you are. We're going to let it go. Now, if you want to do that, that's fine, but understand what it attracts.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is when you have a guy like Derrick Jaxn who is talking to women 99.9% of the time, but he's not comfortable posting his family, then that's a whole issue.
That's a whole problem.
And I feel like women we just got to start. You don't need somebody to tell you what common sense should tell you. Right? I had a girl call me one time and she was like, well, she wanted me to do a story about her as a couple with this celebrity guy. And she said, well, he's my boyfriend. I said, how do you know he's your boyfriend? And she was like, well, I said, did he tell you that he was your, because I don't see that. When I look at what he's doing, I don't see that.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to do that. But I think and she didn't need to ask me. She didn't need me to tell her that wasn't her boyfriend. It's not your boyfriend. If his page don't look like he got a girlfriend or he got a wife, he doesn't.
And he doesn't. And that's such a big thing, women. Listen, you hit the nail on the head right there. If nothing he does presents you, and that doesn't mean pictures, but present that he has some type of commitment or some type of woman that's important in his life, if the things that he doesn't support that, then don't you take that as a role. Too many times we'll still be doing things like this man is telling the world, or even telling himself that you have a priority in his life. You will know if you have a priority in his life because you will see it, you will feel it, and so will other people. But if you don't, then don't make any assumptions based on anything, especially because he hitting it, or he bought you something, or he dropped you off a couple of $100, or he took you shopping and put you a purse. Girl, men do that. That's nothing. And trust me, he didn't do that with some money he earned. He did that with spare change. Men do that type of stuff with spare change. Please understand that he's not going to be inconvenienced for nothing that he don't care about. If he spent it on you, it's spare change, ma'am. Understand it. Be clear. Men money is too important for them to just be spending it on people that they don't care nothing about. That's spare change, ma'am. That's spare change. Okay. It is though. It is. I'm saying.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. You're right. if it's not an inconvenience to him, people do not inconvenience themselves what they don't prioritize.
That's exactly right.
So and that's the thing, women get it caught up with, oh, well, he got money, he spent. Girl, if he took you to, I don't know, ocean, to him it wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal.
It was spare change, and he wanted to go anyway, and it probably felt, but it's not about you.
Right.
It's not about you.
It was about him, and he had some spare change. It was no big deal.
I want to play. I'm going to play another. I'm going to play another clip. If you guys are just tuning in, thank you. We have an audience that they are holding us down. I have a clip I'm trying to pull up. You guys just bear with me for a second. I have a clip from Married at First Sight Pastor Dwight. And Pastor Dwight, who actually married Chris and Paige on the show. I don't know if you guys watched that show, but he married the two of them, and it was not a good thing. But I'm trying to pull this clip up really quickly.
Okay.
I'm gonna share this is the perfect time to share his word. But the thing about it is, you will know how a man feels about you by how he presents you, by the attention that he gives you. And there's nothing. I learned this for the second time, because my mother, people tell you, my mom would always tell me, Christal, if he likes you, he will call you. Yeah. If he likes you, he will take you out. If he doesn't like you, he will not call. I would be
I mean,
like,
it's just that simple too, really. We just
you
don't
know,
believe that.
he doesn't like you. Okay. And that's the thing. And so when I tell my daughter and even my girlfriends, because girls will be sitting around trying to figure out, how does he feel about me? How does he, well, maybe he's scared.
No.
Ma'am,
No.
he's not scared.
No,
He
he's not.
isn't, he's just not that into
He's
you.
not that. Hello, he's just not.
And we have to be okay with that, because just because he's not that into you does not mean there's anything wrong with you.
Exactly.
It just means he's not the one.
He's not the one.
He's not the one. And it's okay, because as soon as you let him move to the side, as soon as he slides, that makes room for the right one.
Right.
You
And we
have
gotta
to
start
say,
being okay with being a bunch of people around. Like we be like, it's only this man and this man only. Baby, it's not. You gotta be. It's men and multiple and amazing chocolate, vanilla, all type of choices from you to choose from, baby. This is, you're open. So if he don't like you, that's okay. You don't know what's behind that next one. You don't know what's behind door number 3. You don't know.
and sometimes, now I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna have to ask you to back me up, sister. Like, sometimes we're so focused on the things that don't matter, we miss out on the things that do matter, right? We're so focused on, what does he drive? What does he look like? Now, I mean, we need him to look good, though. I'm not gonna lie.
You to look at him.
God hasn't gotten me to the point that I haven't, because I like it to look good.
You
So
gotta be able to look at him.
I struggle with it, but and God is still working on me. But thank God, you want to be attracted to him. But I think sometimes we're so focused on those material things we see outside of that you're not focused on how does he treat you. So you're looking at this dude that looks like Derrick Jaxn, but let you sit up in a bonnet and a washed out shirt. That's not the type of man that is a husband to me.
Exactly.
It doesn't speak husband
It doesn't speak husband at all, because a husband, if nothing else, covers you. If he don't do nothing else, he cover you. So if he look at you like, baby, that ain't cute. We about to go on TV. We have to go on here. I'm gonna need you to spruce, baby. You gotta look like something.
Especially if you're putting her in a situation, because just real talk. If you are going into a difficult situation, but you look good.
I said that earlier. You look good. That would have been people would have spun that a whole different way. They might not have even had such a negative connotation toward her. They would look at her like, girl, she is in power. She ain't worried about nothing. You go, girl. Because the way you said it earlier was true. She looked defeated. And so that's what people picked up on. They picked up on the fact that she looked defeated. And if you look defeated, again, you will judge a tree by its fruit. Exactly. So if the fruit is saying that I'm defeated, then but if she had looked like she really cared about herself and she put some time into herself, she looked like she put some time into him. Exactly. She looked like she was there for him. If you guys are just joining, again, we are wrapping up a conversation on this Derrick Jaxn fraudulent outbreak expose that happened today. I cannot get this clip up for some reason, probably because we're already into the broadcast with Pastor Dwight. But basically, he talked about the fact that God is not going to bring you a project. Now, if you're waiting on husbands are not projects. No, husbands are already together, because if he wants a wife, he brings a wife into what he already has. He's not already a wife. He created you to be a wife. He created a wife. And he's already a husband. He's already a husband. You don't have to make him into a husband. And I think a lot of times we feel like, because we hear this narrative that Black men have it hard and they need a little help. And I'm not saying everybody needs help, but your job as a woman is not to help build him. Your job is not to help build him. And that doesn't just mean money, because a lot of times women think, well, he had money, so but no. God is not going to put you in a situation with someone who treats you like that. That's right. Someone who cheats on you repetitively. That is not God's best. And they're up there quoting scripture. Every other word out of his mouth was a scripture. Baby, listen. Every other word out of his mouth. And I'm like, I call bullshit, Derrick Jaxn, because if it's really about the scripture, you can make a mistake, yes. But that was a lifestyle. You were getting away with it and you were fine with it. That's not a mistake. Nope. I tell people what he's about to do is he's going to flip this into those people that he lose based on not being authentic. If you notice, they kept using God and counsel and being able to turn this into a ministry. The next thing you're going to see is him taking this thing to a forgiveness level, to
Oh
a
yeah.
ministry level. Like I said, oh, this is the next flip right here. He's gonna start turning into religion and to forgiveness and praying on the people's emotion and empathy of saving a marriage and being forgiven and walking in change and all that stuff. That's gonna be his next flip. I ain't never heard him mention God so much in my whole
I haven't
life.
either, but you know what? That's what the same thing happened on. That's why I had a clip from that pastor, married at first sight. This guy has totally misused this woman, and he's using God. I want to have Bible study. You need to get put together a Bible study for me, and she's doing it because she wants a husband. God is not bringing you someone that's going to hurt you, and you have to go through struggle love and stay with him through all the BS while he continues to just stomp on you, as my mother would say, step on you, run over you like a mat, and you got to stay because that's what God placed. God doesn't place you, and you placed yourself.
Exactly.
You placed yourself in that.
That's not even what he created it for. He didn't even create it for that. So why would you think he would put you in that? And we have to understand there's a free will of the things that we give. You be like, well, why did God? No. This wasn't God. He gave you the opportunity to see and make choices about who you were going to entertain and who you were going to give your wifely duties and everything to. You had a choice in that. And I can promise you 9 times out of 9.5, she saw those flags. I mean, y'all been breaking up, getting together for how long before y'all got married? And you still got married?
But she probably, and I mean, I think every woman has that. That's what I'm saying. We have to be accountable for our communities. Yeah. Older women, more mature women have to tell younger women, it's not just about getting a husband. It's not just about getting a man with some money. It's not just about getting a man that looks good. It's about getting a man or getting with a man that treats you this way, that honors you this way, that respects you this way.
Right.
And that has to be the conversation, because our community right now, all I hear women talking about is, I can tell you how to get a 7-figure, like I'm not mad at
this high valued man and woman is the narrative right now that is really making me upset. And it's really putting false ideas about who's important, about who's a good man and who's a good husband. What do you mean high value? Based on what?
What is your value? Like, what does the word value mean to you?
Exactly.
Because if value means money, then Derrick Jaxn has money because you guys give it to him, because women are buying his books and watching his YouTube page and all that. So he has the money, but he has no value.
No value whatsoever.
That's not a value man. A man, you can tell how a man's value is by the way he treats those closest to him.
Right.
So you can talk all this stuff to these women, but the woman that's raising your children, you treat like dirt.
Because it's all about him. He does that. His kids, everything. Sometimes it felt like to me that everything was a problem. Mm-hmm. Even to his child, I'm going to go get our daughter so and so while you explain. I'm like, sir. Stop.
I just feel like I don't know where she is. I don't know if somebody can send her this tape,
right?
YouTube, but she needs, and I don't know, maybe somebody watching knows her or knows somebody that knows her. Y'all need to get her. Yeah. Y'all need to support her, surround her with love, because she's not getting that there. She's not. I don't care. Even if she thinks she is, she's not getting that there. There's no way that he would allow her to be in that situation, humiliate her, blame her, and use her.
That's exactly what he did. He propped her. That showed me that he will use her. He has used her, because that was nothing but her being a problem. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was a bad attempt. It was a bad attempt. I'm like, I would have thought he would at least have gotten a better counsel on how to do a PR save. Like, at the very minimum, you could have came better than that. Nope. You know what I mean? Like, no. He would not. I'm like kind of thrown off. Like, you run so much game on other people, but you really weren't ready to be exposed. You know what I mean? Like, you really weren't.
Because, narcissists never feel like that they can be exposed. They feel like they've got so much game, so much power, so much whatever, that they can't be exposed. They can't be shown, and even the way he spent it, he still feels that way. You didn't expose him. You gave him another opportunity to show who he was or what he could be and how he can make this thing work for him. So he doesn't even feel exposed. I can tell you that. He feels like, now I got to do something else with this.
And unfortunately, the reality is it probably will work. Absolutely. Because he's a master manipulator, and he will come back, and there will be women that will continue to follow him. I think that one of the things that I remember my godmother told me, she said, Christal, you can tell a man's worth by how other men respond to him.
Yeah. Yes.
Anytime there's a man that if other men respect him, there's something to that.
Yeah.
When you meet a man and other men say he's a bitch,
he really is.
pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention. That's not for no reason. There's an issue. It's just like if there's a woman, and I tell my guy friends that if none of us like her, if she constantly has an attitude, she's fighting with other women all the time, the problem is not the other women. Problem is her.
Yep.
The problem is her, because women know women and men know men.
Yep.
So for any time, I never forget that she said, if you want to know a man's like how he is, because you don't want to be with no bitch.
Right. No, can't do it. No.
Oh, you want a man that has respect. I remember looking at this woman, and we were at one of the 100 Black Men in Atlanta events, a dinner, and her husband had passed away, and she stood up and she accepted an award for him. And every man in that place stood up when they said her husband's name. And I was watching her, and I was like, you could see the reverence that people had for him. It wasn't just about him being in a powerful position. It was who he was and his character.
Exactly.
And I remember thinking, that's the kind of man I want to be with. I'm proud to stand behind him, to stand on the side of him. I want to be with somebody that I respect, that I can say, I don't have a problem submitting to him, because he's the man.
He's
right?
the man.
He's the man. Now, Derrick Jaxn, we have heard every guy that I know.
Nobody.
He's full of it.
I know.
He's pandering. And we as women, we have to wake up and be smart enough to know when we're being pandered to.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Just like strippers pander to men.
Exactly.
And it works.
We give you what you need in order to get that back, to get what we need from you. We give you what you need to get what we need from you. And we know how to do that. Strippers know how to do that.
They know how to do it
They know how to do that. Exactly.
They know how to do it. Well, every guy I know goes to the strip club and claims that he doesn't have to throw money, and the girls all love his personality. I swear, every single one of y'all tell. They don't.
She ain't studying personality. She ain't trying to get to know you. There's no benefit for her to get to know you. So that's your ego. And a lot of times people understand that they play on a certain person's ego or whatever they need, whatever emptiness that they need to be filled, and they play exactly on that thing. They learn to do it, and he does the same thing.
Absolutely. And for my friends, the girls know they got money. Like, I'm not gonna take $20 from him right now, because I can get 20,000 out of him.
Exactly.
That's smart. Exactly. She's running game. And the same thing with Derrick Jaxn. He knows that most of the women that are sitting listening to him hour after hour are women who have gone through a breakup, or they're hurt, and they need to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
But we have got to start looking internally to feel better. Like, you can take a little something, but keep it moving. Take a little something, but keep it moving. It's exactly why when I went through a divorce, girl, I was broken. I wouldn't wish divorce on my
it's hard. Very.
I would never wish divorce on my worst enemy. But I was like, I'm not going to church. As crazy as that is, because I know the Black church takes advantage. There's a pastor in the pulpit, and he is catering to broken Black women.
Broken people. Yeah, broken women. Yeah.
Broken women, because the men aren't there. And and those women are sitting there. There's no man at the house giving their tithes and paying attention to every little word he says. Yeah. Now, with a good man, a pastor who's right, he's not taking advantage of that. A bitch ass takes advantage of it.
Oh, that's not no bitch. Yes.
It's running around. And that's why you see so many pastors. I'm not going to name any names. One of them got on the live with that are in flocks and are constantly sleeping with those women. And I was like, I am not going to be one of those women, because I knew I was weak, because I was hurt. Right. I was broken. And I was like, I'm not going to fall into that trap. I'm going to figure out how to dig myself up out of this hole. And I did. But the problem, it shouldn't be to where those type of situations are able to take advantage of us. Y'all got to stop listening to, hopefully he will not be able to get his audience back. Hopefully his audience will see that exactly the reason that you guys have been paying for his books, paying for his speaking engagements and whatever else he's doing, lotions and stuff.
I didn't know the fool had no lotion though.
He has chocolate and he has nice skin.
I guess he does. Those are the type of men that pamper themselves, baby. I'm telling you, it's something about that man that takes better care of himself than he takes care than the other people. Because men take care of people around them first, and they get the rest because they take pride in taking care of what's theirs.
Absolutely.
The men that take care of themselves, baby, that's a whole nother selfish level of it right there.
Well, you just different away from it. Like, what do you need that for? She don't need him. She needs to get herself together, get some good girlfriends to support her, and get on from him and file and get her coins. Because I see people saying that he's not going anywhere, neither is, and it's right. But at least some people are going to hear this, and y'all got to start recognizing that game. Right. When you hear somebody who is only shooting out at other people, the women too, like, stop. It's game. Like, you got to be smart enough to realize. And you may feel like some game getting ran on you every once in a while, right? I have felt like, okay, I know he's lying, but it feels good right now because he's lying.
And sometimes we'll do that because it feels good to what we need. And again, that starts playing to something that we need. And that's why we got to be careful in what position that we start to date. That's another thing I teach. There's places in your life that you don't need to date because you're going to get taken advantage of in those spaces because those men recognize what you're missing and they play upon that.
That's
so there's places you don't need to date in your life. You need to be solid in certain places before you even begin to entertain. And that first thing is being solid with yourself. Like, you gotta be. You gotta be.
That's true. That's true. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Again, this was a conversation about Derrick Jaxn. This was not to tear Derrick Jaxn down. But this was to be honest with our community about what's been going on. The man's a whole fraud. He's an entire fraud. There is no way that his lifestyle can be in such contradiction to what he's preaching.
Right.
Not wrong without him being a fraud. So I'm going to say it very clearly. I'm not anti-Derrick Jaxn, but he is a fraud.
Right.
He's a fraud. It is what it is. So I feel like at this point, it's nothing wrong with women because we represent our community. And we're women that have something to say, to stand up to protect other women. Saw his wife and the way she looked so lost on that video, he would really have done better not to have her on there, or to give a statement, have her read a statement and get off, but have her fixed up. Like, it was
awful. It was terrible. And I just felt bad for her. And if she ever goes back, or I'm sure she has, and looks at herself, she'll see that she wasn't looking like what she was talking about. And maybe that'll be an eye opener for her. Maybe she'll recognize the fraud or the pretense in herself. Like, that wasn't even me. God, please change me. Please work on me. Because this person that I'm looking at is a shell of me. So maybe she'll see that and understand that it's time to do something different. Whatever that something is.
The thing about it is she already had hurt. And she had issues before they got together, which is why I wanted to be with her.
Absolutely.
Men that are narcissistic and are predators like that, they don't want a woman that's healthy and whole because they can't manipulate her. Yeah. I'm not sitting up here. I'm telling you, I'm not sitting up here and your Instagram is one of a single man. We're not going to do that, sir. Because the door was good before you got here, sir. So you can take yourself and if that's how you want to do it, it's fine. So men that are not confident and don't have good intentions don't want a woman that is good on her own. They want someone that's broken, that they can give you the misinterpretation that they're saving you, so that you become dependent on that. Right. So I don't want people to think that we're downing her, because she obviously was broken when he found her. Right. What made her attractive to him. So, and every woman goes through that. Every woman, no matter how beautiful, no matter how smart, no matter how accomplished, every woman has gone through a point where she was hurt and somebody came in and took advantage of that hurt. Or maybe she put herself in a position to be taken advantage of. Either way, that's just life. Everybody goes through that. It happens. She's young. I believe that she's going to get it together. He probably did her a disservice because somebody's going to see that and eventually she's gonna hear it and she's gonna wake up and be like, I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
I don't need to be here.
I just pray that really, I pray. I think if she ever looks at herself, I promise you, she will see it's time to do different.
Girl, look at herself next to him.
Yeah.
Look at her.
And hopefully she will, because it's going to take her. That may be her looking at herself that she needs to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope so. Well, I thank you for hanging out. Let's let people know. First of all, I hope you guys subscribe to this channel. I hope all of you guys watching, because there's still a lot of people watching. I hope you guys are all subscribing for great relationship conversation. We had to come in and we got to do this like an emergency.
Yes.
Emergency
news.
Over Quavo and Sweetie. We made an emergency over that. But Sweetie got it together, right?
Right. Okay.
Sweetie got it together. She said the money and all that material things don't mean anything when the intimacy is given to another woman. I'm out.
And that's it. We just gotta. It's about how you see yourself, though. If I can't tell women anything else, the way you see you is the way he gonna treat you, ma'am. And let it be okay if he walk away. We gotta be okay with people leaving our life, because we'll start to think that that's a fault of our own, and it's a negative thing on us. It's not. It just means it didn't fit. It just means it didn't fit. A square and a circle doesn't make the square or circle not wrong. It just means they don't fit. Wait for your circle to fit your peg. It'll be much better.
So much better. So much better. I can't tell you how many guys, because during the dating journey, I thought it didn't work out. And, for whatever reason, and I felt like, well, maybe it's got to be me because I've been out here dating and this is not working. And then later, because men always come back when they know it's a good woman, and they always come back and then they explain. I've had so many of my exes or ex guys I've dated come back and explain to me why it didn't work. I had one guy send me a letter on LinkedIn. I was having mental issues. I didn't know. And I appreciated that. But I realized all that time I was sitting up wondering, wasted an hour. Thinking it was, and I'm not saying I was perfect, because I definitely had things to work on. Definitely. But they just weren't for me.
Right.
They were not for me. And it's okay. I was not for them. Because some of them I didn't want to be with anyway.
Right. You was like, whoa, your dies that
trying to fit my square, my circle, my curves into things that don't need curves. No. No. So you got to know it's okay to go through things. We're not downing her. She's going to be fine. This is going to be a learning experience. Yes, it's going to be a painful one, because it's shared with the world. Like I cannot imagine if the things I had gone through were shared with that type of platform. But I also think she'll have a bigger testimony, and she's going to have a powerful testimony. So to let people know how to find you, T. Marie.
It's T. Marie everywhere. T. Marie, the number 4 letter U. That's on my IG. Katrina T. Marie Curtis. That's on my Facebook. No More Boyfriends. The page is on my Facebook, the group page. You can find me. If you just put T. Marie, number 4 letter U, I'm going to pop up. I'm your dating coach, your companionship agent. I teach women how to date so they can have successful relationships. It's important. If you don't know how to date, your relationship is just going to be a mess. You date so you learn how to get into relationships and with people who fit your mode, your ideas, what you're looking for. Too many times we date with blinders on and hope that this will happen. And then you know what? We date with love. You cannot take love to the dating arena. People don't believe that, but I'm telling you, you can't. You don't even bring love to the game until you don't get halfway in. You don't even bring it. So I teach people how to date. It's important to learn how to date, and in that way, you'll have the relationships that you're looking for.
Well, one of the things I appreciate about you, T. Marie, which is why I've invited you back, and I always will. First of all, we're friends, but I appreciate the fact that you don't down women, because I see so many other, dating coaches, and the first thing they do is tell you everything that's wrong with you, and it's like, are you running game? Again, that's running game. You're trying to get to my points. I don't like when people start out by trying to pimp and hoe me. I'm not a hoe. Don't try to break me down before you build me up.
Exactly.
Don't do it. So I appreciate the fact that you don't do that. You come from a holistic place of really wanting people to be healthy. So if you guys are looking for a dating coach, please hit up my girl, TMARIE, the number 4, and then U.
Yep.
Now, I am Christal, and I'm so excited about my new show, From Christal with Love XO. I am not a dating coach. I talk about relationships. I've been a relationship editor for years. I talk about relationships. I talk about celebrity relationships with Good Day Atlanta. I just tell you about it. I give you a little bit of my common sense, but I'm not somebody that coaches. That's not my lane. What I do is talk about it. I believe in love. I believe everybody deserves love. I think love is the most amazing thing that God put here for us. And we have to love ourselves. And like you said earlier, that how you see you is how he'll treat you is so true. Especially if you're loving yourself, then you're going to attract that love to you.
Absolutely.
And all of you need to do that. I love my people. I love everybody, but I especially love my Black folks. And
Yes, I do. Me too, girl. We are special kind.
We are special. And I think it's time for us to pour back in. I'm not saying that to be exclusionary. I'm just saying that because that's where my heart is.
Yeah.
Because I remember being a little Black girl and feeling so discouraged about relationships. We see so many times we grow up in single, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to help heal that for my community. So you guys, please check out my new show, From Christal with Love XO. It's right here on this YouTube channel every Thursday at 9 p.m. The second episode is coming up, so I can't wait for you guys to see that. Leave your feedback. I am not married. I am engaged. I'm not married. Somebody asked, was I married? But I'm not married. I am engaged. But that is not, and that's not something that has nothing to do with this.
Right.
That came after Christal let go. But I was doing this. I was like, Lord, why you got me talking about relationships and I'm not in one? And don't look like one is coming. But when the right one came, it was so easy.
People don't get it. It is. Love is, I promise you, the right one is not hard. And we think that we're supposed to have suffer to love to get the prize. And it's not. God never said that. He never created love for that. It's easy when it's for you, period. It's easy when it's for you.
Absolutely, but you got to work at it. We got to hang out with us. We'll definitely be back. We're going to do this whenever there's an emergency.
Absolutely.
Here. Y'all have a great week. Have a blessed, prosperous, successful week. We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.